Remember when you first started your business. Remember what you said you were going to do. In the beginning, you're gonna prove yourself. I'm gonna outcare and outdo the competition. You did anything to try to prove yourself for that promotion. Are you still trying to prove yourself every single day? Because I believe you can have it all. You can have it all. Because fulfillment does come from giving it your all. Your team needs to grow. You need to be a great leader. True leaders are followed regardless of money. I'm here to tell you that's the only way to maintain sustainable growth. That's the only way you're gonna make it.
Our goal is if you're making 100K, it's like we want to get you to your first 1 million. If you're at 1 million, which there's people in this room that are at 1 million, we want to get to 5 million. If you're at 5 million, we want to figure out how to get you to 25 million. If you're at 25 million, we want to figure out how to get you to 100 million. There is a formula. It's not luck. The biggest trap, success trap, is just work hard and keep grinding. The stuff Jacqueline's about to teach you, $100 million idea sitting in the middle of it. Your vision has to keep growing, your mind has to keep growing, and you have to keep getting better, no matter what role you play. Because if you don't, people won't get behind you.
I talk about the golden handcuffs all the time. This is a huge, huge thing that has to do with the culture. Do you have the courage to cut? That's the biggest thing. Do you have the courage to put your values above money? We made a decision a long time ago never to make decisions based on money. That is very short-lived. Okay, the money will come if you do the right thing. Your culture will survive whether you have that person that makes 30% of your revenue that brings in all of this negativity. I'm just being completely honest. You're gonna have to ask yourself, do you have those golden handcuffs? Okay, so what is a golden handcuffs? It says the high performer who's killing your culture. Okay, you know who they are. They produce results but poison the well. It said they hit their numbers but hurt the team. It says you usually keep them because there's fear of short-term pain of losing them, okay? Usually, that person's the lone wolf. Usually, it's the person that doesn't cheer for the team when they win. Or if you ring the bell, they're the ones that don't cheer for them, okay? They're the negative. They're the eye rollers in the room. They're the ones that are making excuses not to come to the meetings. They're on their phone during the meetings. They're texting the whole time. They're not even paying attention, right? That's what they do. They feel protected by you because they put up money. Those are the people that are giving you the whole golden handcuffs. Now, what is the true cost of having that employee? Like really, you're gonna have to know. The cost of the turnover they cause. People start quitting because they see that these people are protected. Seriously. Maybe somebody that you're developing, that a new hire that can be a really good person, they see the standard that you're holding. They're like, man, this doesn't apply to everybody. You're trying to make sure that they do things a certain way. And they're like, well, this guy doesn't do it that way. He's the guy that's making the money. Do you really want to produce another one of those guys? That's the truth. Impact on team morale. Your stress level with dealing with them. You're avoiding them. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to leave him alone because he's doing what he needs to do. I don't even want to talk to him. You don't even like him. I mean, this is the truth. You don't even like him. The messages it sends to them, the long-term risk, stagnant culture, all that stuff. Think about it. There's somebody in your organization that's probably killing your culture. Do you have the courage to cut them? Yes or no? If somebody is producing and is making 30% of your revenue, for example, and he is that guy that we're talking about, just think about it. You bring your lower guys. We've had that guy that has that syndrome that we've kept around. And then all of a sudden, we got rid of him. And guess what happened? The people on the lower end started, they're like, oh my gosh, Andy and Jacqueline, they really care about us. It doesn't really matter. They started producing more money. And guess what happens? That person at the top, where are they getting their leads? How much is it really truly costing you? Are they self-generating their stuff or they're getting your leads? Because guess what's happening? You're probably feeding them most of their money. And yes, maybe if he's producing, say, $100,000 or whatever it is, you might get it might take you 2 guys to get to that $100,000 or whatever, but you're not really losing that. You're not really losing all that money. The true cost is not really there because you're giving them, you're feeding them all those deals basically, right? They're taking your people. So it's not really the true cost that you think. You're not going to lose 30% of your revenue. That's never going to happen. We've had people that are high producers that leave and we make the same amount of money. It just goes to different people. If you look at the number that you're producing, you really shouldn't lower it if you do it right, you know? Because you're giving them those people and you're gonna make the same amount of money either way. You're just gonna feed it to the top performers. That's what usually happens in these formulas. Okay, so vision without execution is hallucination. Okay, this is a formula that we talk about, that I'm gonna talk about right now. In today's market, we face a critical paradox. We move too quickly and you outrun your execution capability. You move too slowly and the market leaves you behind. Elite leaders master this balance. So we talk about the speed of execution. How fast are you at making decisions? How fast are you at tackling problems? How fast do you get paralyzed because you need to perfect everything? Or can you move forward and also make sure that you're taking care of things along the way? The market is crazy. Everything is crazy now. If you aren't loud, substantial, and you attack viciously with the plan, you're left behind. That's what happens. But you're going to have to learn and be adaptable and adjust. So you have to learn that. Okay, so where do you typically get stuck from idea to implementation? This is all stuff that you need to look at, and that way you can apply it. I made this very, very tactically so you can understand where you are and not just be like, I have that problem, but also where you have that problem, okay? So where do you stick? Where do you get stuck? Generating too many ideas without focus. Getting lost in validation and never launching. That's a lot of people. We see it with coaching companies all of the time, okay? Poor implementation due to weak systems. You're not thinking things through. You're not documenting your stuff. You're not getting better. Failing to think ahead and anticipate resistance. Think ahead. The buy-in that you get. When we launch a product, we have to make sure that we tell the key players or the leaders in our team before we tell everybody else, because guess what happens? The lower performers are looking at the higher performers to see what their face looks like. If they're surprised, they're going to be like resistant to that change. You're going to have to get that buy-in, you know? You have to think ahead and make sure that you're selling the dream, the idea. And also, if you're launching something new, you have to think about the objections that they're going to be having when they're selling your product, and not make it so that they get that objection and then all of a sudden they don't believe in it anymore. You have to think things through in that way. But it doesn't mean that you have to perfect it. It just means that you have to think of how you're going to put it together and sell it in that way, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be thought out. The implementation equation, this is what it works, okay? Here, vision times, it's not plus, it's times. Vision times execution times consistency equals result. The reason why it's times is because if any variable is 0, your result is 0. If anything works, it'll only work for a little bit. It won't work long term. You'll waste a lot of capital, you'll lose a lot of time, and you'll be stuck starting over if you don't take those 3 into the consideration, okay? So we talk about the 90-day sprint plan. This is something that I want you to leave with today, okay? We talk about 90-day sprints. The reason why we grow and scale is because we have 90-day goals, okay? I'm gonna give you an example, and then I want you to apply your own. Okay, let's just say, you know, and we know that we win because we condense timeframes. The reason why you come to these trainings is because you get ideas to go and implement in your business. The better student you are, the more coachable you are, the faster you implement, the more you're going to scale, grow, and get to that next level. It's the truth. We try to teach you so that you can condense those time frames. Doesn't mean you're skipping any steps. It means you're condensing them and making them happen faster. Okay? So let's think about one specific measurable outcome that you want. That's the what. I'm going to give you an example. So was it June that we did MindCon with David Goggins? Was it
April.
June? No.
April.
I thought it was June.
We were in Dubai. It was April. We came back.
April. Okay. In April, we did MindCon. Yeah. Okay. So let's just say we had MindCon. MindCon we did with David Goggins. You guys all know who David Goggins is, right? So David Goggins, we had this idea. We're going to make a 1,500 person event with David Goggins. Now, granted, we can't do a 1,500 person event downstairs because we can't fit that many people. So we're thinking, okay, we've spoken in different stages, we've been at different events, we've done all this stuff other places, but we've never actually hosted our own 1,500 person event. This is the biggest event that we've ever done locally, ourselves putting it all together. Not been a
We've
speaker.
done thousands of 500s,
Yes.
but 1,500, it was a new thing.
Different level, right? So we wanted to do that.
Outside of our facility.
So we had a 3-month period to sell 1,500 tickets. That's the what. This is the goal. Okay, we had 3 months to plan for this stuff. You have to think about one product or something that you have in your life that you want to create a 90-day sprint. The execution, the how. Okay, so what do you start? I put, okay, what do you do week 1 to 2, week 3 or 4, week 5 to 8, and week 9 to 12 in order to keep it going? I gave you guys a formula earlier. Now we're talking about the implementation, right? So first of all, you start with the vision. You sell the vision to the team. Okay, so what is it? Well, the little details. We'll make a contract with the big speaker. He charges $250,000 to speak for 1 hour. Okay, so here you have capital that you have to spend, right? You're spending this right off the bat. You're not making money yet. You're not selling one ticket. You have to make the capital. You have to basically spend that money, right? You have to pay the money, initial investment. There's all risk, no return yet. You create the pressure in your team. You sell the dream. You keep going, right? Then you say week 3 to 4, you start selling. You do a fast start. We presented it, gave it to our team. Okay, you guys are first to sell it. We're not doing marketing. We're not doing any of that. We're giving you guys the opportunity, selling the dream. Everybody looks up to David Goggins. Andy's talked about David Goggins for years. He was going through his total recreation. He talks about how much he meant to him. They feel like they know David Goggins. They're super excited. They're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We've never done anything like that. They create the hype. They start selling it like crazy. You know, the momentum starts going. Then ops on that side, they start looking at venues. They start doing event planning, all of the stuff, right? Then we go to week 5 to 8. Then all of a sudden we're like, okay, are we tracking? Are we not tracking? Are we on goal for our target? Do we need to change something? Do we need to do this direction? Okay, now we're gonna bring in marketing, be like, okay, we thought we were gonna be here, we're actually here, or we are here, we're gonna increase this, we're gonna split test this, now we're gonna start putting out ads. Like, what does it look like when you're launching products, and what time do you need to give it, right? So then we start investing more money, obviously, because now we have to pay deposits on all of this different things, right? So in keeping the team motivated. Now we have to build the agenda. What does it look like? You know, what kind of, what type of training we're gonna do, what type of speaking, what is the messaging gonna look like, who we're gonna bring in there for this, and then we start getting into the little things like that, right? And then we go 9 to 12. We have to track the sales. Okay, how are we at filling the room? You know, last details, food, you know, maybe you need to put up different spiffs for your team. Maybe you need to create like packages for people or whatever it is to be able to fill the room. You know, how we're going to do rebooks, like all of the stuff, all the details, like you have to be able to plan in that way for any certain goal. So I'm giving you this example, but it's not like I'm just giving an example of something that we had to plan in 90 days to be able to create an outcome. One thing is you always have to have the dream and the vision set up. That's something that's never going to get old in your business or anything that you have going on. If that is truly clear, that is one meeting that's never going to grow old. But you have to feel it every single day. You always have to talk about that, right? But it's in the consistency. Consistency is boring, but the boring brings out the true potential. The rest of it keeps you distracted. Leadership itself can be boring. All of the stuff we talked about today is boring shit. Andy said that. Boring stuff makes you be that leader that people trust. It's that consistency. It's basically being able to follow through with your word. It's not making false promises and being like, hey, we're going to do this and not actually hitting it. Like, makes people start quitting on you if you're not consistent and don't follow through with that. That boring leadership is what's needed, but also you have to bring in that vision and that drive. I'm talking about just the motions here. You know, the motions of be able to do this stuff for like the 90 days. Can you consistently pick a goal and hit it for 90 days and be excited about it? Because that's the reason why things fail and you don't follow through with things, because we're excited for a certain amount of period, then we lose that momentum, and then we wonder why our team isn't excited, why they're not motivated, why they don't care, why you're stuck in that blaming theory that we talked about earlier and we don't take that responsibility, is because we can't stay fired up for a full 90 days on something. So think about it. I just want you guys to feel, you know, all of these things, like what you're talking about. Like, look at your weekly, your reviews. Are you on track? Go over numbers, tracking board, celebrate wins, review calls, train your team. All of the stuff that you need to do in between to be able to grow and scale and stay consistent. Can you do that? And can you do it and persist and go through it? We talk about sprints and marathons. This right here, we talk about condensing time frames, but it's still going to be a marathon. You're going to have to stay consistent in what you do. So I just wanted to give you guys an example. And then I know we're like out of time here, but